Did you know you could craft with wall decals? You really can. Keep watching. I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome. Our first project is going to be a mushroom picture. We're going to get back to my rustic roots, y'all. We're going to take some matte Mod Podge, brush, a couple of brushes actually. We're going to use oatmeal chalk paint, Waverly Antiquing Wax, these beautiful wall decals that I got from Temu, not sponsored, and this little dog or cat tray. Yes, we're going to use this little pet placemat. Of course, we're going to start by taking off of our stickers, so take those off. Then you're going to wipe it down, preferably with something like alcohol, to make sure that all of the oils and the gunk and fingerprints are off of it. Then I'm going to take a 60 grit sandpaper, and I don't have a round sander, so I just use these by hand. And I'm going to use this to bite through all of that smooth, shiny stuff on this mat. It's a little bit more difficult to paint on a shiny surface than it is for something that is roughed up, and since I like the rustic stuff, we're going to really age it and make it rustic. So we're going to start off by getting the sandpaper and just going all over it. I've kind of done it in the grid, so you know, side to side, flip it around and do it the other way. So we have sort of a crosshatch situation going on. I'm also going to get the corner of the paper and go right down in the cracks, because you know, when you paint this, I want it to be a nice finish all over, nice even finish. So then we're going to wipe it off, and we will put our Mod Podge down. Now I put the Mod Podge down just to help the paint to adhere. That's the main reason that I did this. But you know, pleasant surprises are everywhere in crafting, and wait till you see. Just wait till you see. So I'm going to use my brush here. I'm going to go around, make sure that I get it in all of the little cracks there. And you know, we are on the reverse side. We're not using the little cute little paw print side. We're using the reverse side. And this is such a beautiful shape, I think, for a sign, and that's what I thought when I saw it. So nice large sign. And then here it is once it's dried. You can see all the little cut marks in there, or the scratch marks. Perfect, just what we want. And we're going to decide what color, which of these that we want. Not the color, which mushrooms we want. So I'm just going to go through here. It makes it easier for me to cut it out into sections that I can work with. So I'm just going to go out and cut out all of these individual mushroom pieces, and then I'll choose a few that are going to fit on that sign. Alright, so I've chosen my ones that I'm going to use, and I'm going to add some of this oatmeal chalk paint. Absolutely love this color. It is like a greenish undertone to it, but it's like a beige color. I just absolutely love it. Beautiful. So I'm going to take a brush and go all the way over this. I'm going to use a nice even coat. Be sure if you get brush hairs in there, you pick them out. And go all the way over this. I'm also going to get down in those little cracks where the lip of that tray is, or the placemat, whatever you want to call it. And make sure that everything is covered. And you can bump around on the sides too, so nobody can see. While it is wet, when you get that coat on there, you're going to take like a little sponge brush of some sort and just pop it up and down. Now the reason we do this is because those little paw prints on the back side are pressed into this, and you can still see a shadow of that, and I would like to sort of blend that out, and by pouncing this around it adds some texture. And with the amount of chalk paint, which I put a pretty thick coat on there, that's going to allow us to get some texture and blend out the little indentions where or blur out the indentions where the paw prints are stamped in on the back side. But look, as it started to dry, it started to crackle. Now I thought my Mod Podge was completely dry underneath, but apparently not. So I'm just going to go with that. I like that. Look at it. I wasn't even trying to form a crackle here, but it is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to leave it there. Yep. If you don't want a crackle finish, you might want to choose maybe spray paint for yours. Make a nice even finish. Now you're going to seal it. I'm using chalk paint, so I want to seal it, and I've sealed it before I put my stickers down. And I want to make sure that when I put these down, they are arranged in a way that is, you know, it looks good together. So I'm going to start with this one in the middle. Working in the middle helps me make sure that everything is spaced the way it should be. Now I'm using these exactly on the sheeting that they came on, but if you want to, go ahead and fussy cut around there. That will, you know, kind of get rid of the little edges that you still see. But y'all, when you go buy home decor anywhere, you can see where they stamp, you can see where they apply things. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Not to me, but if you would like to fussy cut, by all means, go ahead and do yours. We're going to do a lot of things on here that's going to kind of take the shininess out, and that will help kind of distract from the fact that we have these like a clear area over our mushrooms. Okay, so this little leaf would have overlapped, and since they're you can kind of see through them, you would be able to see the fern through the back of this oak leaf. So I'm going to cut that oak leaf off. It could be used in another project or somewhere else. I'm also going to cut out the rose hips just very easily. You can see, and you can fussy cut this same way on your backing, of course. But then I'm going to peel it off, find its position, and then I like to try to put the center down first, but you better be sure, because if you put it down on a painted surface, like a chalk painted surface, and you have to reposition it, it will probably peel up your paint. So just be cautious of that. Then I'm going to take this one and add it. Now, if you would prefer something that looks much more vibrant, go ahead and paint the back of yours white. You can certainly do that. But I love this rustic look, and it just reminds me of something, I don't know, from the 70s or 80s, which I'm going with that. I'm just going to go with it on this project, right? Sometimes the crafts just pick themselves. They come to life in their own way, and you've got to kind of go with that feeling. So that's what we're going to do here. Now I'm going to add these little rose hips right down here where the other one is. There we go. Look how nicely these fit on here, and what a beautiful shape. All right, I'm going to take the backing of my paper just like you would if you used a rub-on transfer, and it's slick, so I'm just going to use that to help kind of push it down. Again, I don't want to interfere with my crackle background, and if I use like a, you know, some type of like a credit card or a squeegee or something, it might pick the flakes up from that crackling. I don't want that to happen, right? We went through all the trouble of sealing it. We don't want that to happen. So you see the difference in the sheen there. When it's not in direct light, you don't really notice it. Now you can go ahead and seal this in, or you can use Mod Podge to seal it in. That's what I chose to do here. So I am going to go over the entire thing. I'm going to make sure that all of my edges are done. And don't worry, once the Mod Podge is dry, you're not going to see the differentiation between the decal and the backing. So don't worry about that. I'm going to make sure certainly that I go around all of the edges of the sticker so that everything stays down. I'm going to go also around the lip, the entire surface, y'all. It's just like if you were painting the thing over again, whole thing. And we're going to let it dry. Now we're going to antique it. So I'm just going to take my little chippy brush and I'm going to put on some of that wax on that brush. Then I'm going to tap some of it off and start on this picture. I want this to look old. I want it to look rustic and just really woodsy and, you know, I don't know, almost in the mind of going into some dark academia, you know, really pretty. Just, this would be beautiful, I think, in a library. Just really, really pretty. And then go over all the little cracks. Now, if you don't shop at Temu, that's fine. Again, not sponsored, but you can get wall decals just about anywhere now. And you can certainly get them at Dollar Tree, you know, and you can use the one with the white background if you want to, especially if you're using a white surface. Also be on the lookout for things like window clings that you can use. I've done lots of projects with window clings, and they're so easy, and the artwork is always, you know, really nice. I think from Dollar Tree they have some really nice options. So look at this. I even have a streak across two of them, and it came from a placemat. How about that? So we need a way to hang this up, don't we? I'm going to use my glue gun to make the holes. I'm going to grab my ruler here and go 2 inches in and about maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch down. And I'm just going to push the tip and hold the tip there, and then as it goes through, I'm going to kind of twist a little bit so that it gives a nice, smooth, and rounded surface when you pull it out. Look at this. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. I love that. And then I'm going to go on the other side, 2 inches in, and do the same thing. Well, approximately. You know what I mean. You know how I am with the numbers. And I'll press down till it starts to go, and then I'll twist it. If you don't twist it, you may come out with some gunk stuck on there, and then it'll look kind of gross, and you'll have to clean it out a little bit more. So this is just the easiest way that I've found in my experimentation. And I'm going to take some more of my thrifted rope. You can definitely get pieces of rope at Dollar Tree, or you could use ribbon, or you could use jute, whatever you choose on your projects. And I've decided I want to put it through the back and then put a knot on the front. It's a rustic look, it's a farmhouse type of look, and I think it looks really good with the style of this particular sign that we're creating. Okay, so we did that one, and we're going to go in here and make another knot on this side. Very easy, just a simple knot. We don't even have to double knot it because it's bigger than the hole, so it won't slide through. Nice and sturdy, see there? Nice and sturdy. If you don't want those to slip, you can add a little hot glue to hold it in place. And you should also know that the back needs to be covered if you intend to give it away, or, you know, if it's not just on a flat wall where nobody's going to see it, for your own joy, you know. Okay, so the next one is going to be a swirl picture. This one I love it. We're going to have some paint brushes. You know we got to paint. I got a tassel that I was so inspired by, and I have some sheepskin chalk paint. This is a little roll that comes in the middle of the decals, and it's foam. I'm going to have some greenery. I'm going to put something that will transition into fall, as well as these beautiful flowers that look like they are dried flowers. Love the look of it, very rustic. This little pan that I've thrifted and had forever. Not even sure what this pan is. And this beautiful decal that I got from Temu. So cute. All y'all have to do when you go over to Temu is just put in wall decals, and then you can find all these. And look, this tassel happens to match beautifully with this squirrel. So we're going to start off by, of course, cleaning our surface. So this was thrifted. It has been cleaned and wiped down and dried. Now I'm going to take my sheepskin paint. I'm going to put way too much on it because you know me, that's how I do. But you can take that out. You can take your excess out once you get your good coat on there. And then I'm going to go around my edge. And because I can't get a straight edge, I'm just going to go up and just hold that brush to it and turn it. And it's going to make a nice smooth divider halfway up of that sheepskin color. You see? Good straight line. Once it's dry, this is how it will look. And we will decide where we want our squirrel to go. Now, it is a little bit too big, but I'll show you how you fix that. I'm going to find my placement. Now, I don't want to put it down until I'm sure, so I take my time with this. And I'm going to let it drop where the squirrel's belly is, and then work toward the outside, and I'm going to push that down. I'm going to use my straight blade here to trim off the part that is going up the side. And if you're careful with it and you don't tear it, you can apply that piece somewhere else. All right. And then you can do the same thing on the other side if you need to. I'm just going to go ahead and take that extra piece and put it up this side. Now, you know I like to give y'all a lot of options. I like to give you a simple option. This would be completely perfect as is if you don't want to do anything else to it. Very budget friendly. Gorgeous, very pretty, transitioning into fall. I love this. It would be very cute. You could even use it as a tray if you sealed it. However, we're going to do a little more because we want our things to be unique as well as budget friendly. So I'm going to take a piece of that styrofoam that was the inside of where the rolled decals were. I'm going to cut a section off, and then I'm going to cut it in half. You don't have to do all this. I'm just doing it this way because I had it. And you know, it's free, right? It came with it. It's free. I'm going to use it. So I'm going to cut it in half. Then I'll take some of my nano tape, or some people, what else is it called? Not Gorilla Tape. Animal, beast, something. Anyway, and it's sticky on both sides. So I'm going to peel the backing off once I get it cut about how I want it. And it will try to stick to your fingers, but what you have to do is press down really hard on the surface you want it to stick to, and it will cling on there. Then I can make it malleable so I can get it down in the pan, and it's going to stick nicely to that aluminum pan, because y'all, I'm telling you, hot glue sometimes will just break away from it and your items will fall apart. But I'm having really good luck with this tape so far, but I'll let you know. If it starts to come apart, I'm going to let you know about that too. You can get stuff like that at Walmart, and you can get it from Temu. I got mine from Temu, and then I have some that I thrifted. Didn't know what it was, but now I know, I use it. So I'm just going to start adding in flowers on the bottom, because I want this to look like a little arrangement. This way, it's going to look like the little squirrel is peeking out of a pile of flowers and greenery, and he's, you know, kind of hiding there in the background. You know how squirrels are. If you've ever watched a squirrel, if they don't see you, they'll just do their business. But when they look at you, if they see you looking at them, they freeze. So just imagine this little squirrel with his nut up in the tree. You come out and slam the door, and he's frozen in the tree looking at you like, oh goodness, what now? I love it. What a cute little squirrel. And you see the difference, how rich and beautiful that picture looks on a lighter colored background? It's all in the look that you're going for, right? It's whatever you're going for. Okay, I'm going to let you watch this, and I'm going to remind you about the cruise. I hope I'm not driving y'all nuts about this cruise, because you cannot know how excited me and my friends are about doing this and getting to meet y'all and actually crafting together. I mean, we're going to have a room where we can all craft together, and you know, we'll be able to relax around the boat. You know, we can eat together. Y'all can ask us questions. You know, it's just going to be so much fun. So if you have not signed up for the cruise yet, feel free, no pressure, but feel free to go down into the description box, click on that link that I'm going to leave for you, the Crafty Cruise Getaway, and check out the information that is there for you. We've got an awesome, one of the door prizes is a heat press that is wonderful. I own one of my own, and I absolutely love it. I've had other presses before, but this one is the best and easiest to use. So anyway, about that, but be sure you check out that link when you're done watching this video, okay? I would love to meet you there. So these flowers and this greenery, I think, scream late summer, early fall. What do you think? If you're not into starting with a little bit of fall decor, you know, make it however you like it. Make it your own. That's what this channel's all about, right? So I cut the little hanger off of the tassel there, and I'm just going to glue it right on the lip of that pan between those flowers. It's going to kind of cover up the handle down there. Not that I'm doing that intentionally. I like that it's a tray, no problem. But I like it. I like it right there underneath there. It kind of elongates it, makes it sort of a bigger presence as far as a piece of art on your wall. I think it's super, super cute. I wanted to be sure I used all of those pieces of florals, so I added a little here and there. And doesn't he look like he's peeking out? Oh, I love it. So the same rope that we used before, we're going to use that now. And I'm just going to tie it and push it down. There's a little dip where the handle goes on. You know how pans are. They have that little dip where they screw in or weld it in. So I'm just going to take advantage of that. I'm going to add some glue and a knot and then press it down where it's sort of jammed into there. Partly in and partly out. I put the glue on there to keep it from twisting as I am twisting this on. This is so simple, this part, y'all. You just twist, twist, twist. And in any places that there's a bend or you think that you're going to get a gap or you just need to have a break in the twisting, add a little bit of hot glue and it won't unravel. And that's so easy to do. You can actually use cool glue if you want to. Put it between two of the loops or two of the wraps, push them together, and then continue around, making sure there's no gaps in there. Once it's done, we're going to get back on this side and I'm going to show you how. You're going to push it down in there and then slow motion, we're going to make a knot. You see the knot that I'm doing here. Don't know the name of the knot. I'm not a sailor. But there's a knot right there. My husband can probably tell us that. He probably knows that kind of stuff. I'm going to cinch it down, add a little bit of hot glue before I cut it, just to be on the safe side. pressing everything down there together. And the rope is pretty much glued onto itself, not the pan really. And look at that. Yes, I love the rope on there. You could continue around with rope right around the outside lip if you wanted to, but I like the metal and I like all the elements. The next is going to be a sunflower tray. All right, we're going to use some walnut wood tint from Home Decor. We're going to use some Waverly pumpkin chalk paint. I'm also going to use some folk art chalk paint and sheepskin. A couple of different brushes. We definitely need chippy brushes. Some school glue. Yes. Sanding paper, sanding block or sanding board, emery board. Another sheet of decals, also from Temu. And look at this one. Oh, beautiful. And then we're going to use a puzzle box from Melissa and Doug. Now, it was either a puzzle box or it had a little farm set in it. You know, I think my son had one of these when he was young. It is about 14 inches by about 10 inches. Okay, just to give you an idea if you don't know what you're working with. I find these boxes all the time at the thrift store. All the time, y'all. All the time. People passing by, I'm grabbing them up. I also use them for storage with my supplies in my craft room, and I love it. Okay, so we're going to sand it down. There are some little areas with paint and crayon. You know how kids are. I'm going to clean it up really, really well with antibacterial wipe. Also, you could use, you know, any alcohol hand wipes or some alcohol, whatever you want to use. Then I'm going to cover the back in black because I couldn't get that sticker off and it was driving me nuts, so I just made it black. We're just going to disguise it. Nobody's going to look under my tray anyway. You know what I say about people picking up stuff and looking on the back of them in my house. You just go right on back to your house then where everything's perfect because it's not here. But you know what? It brings me joy. So we're going to leave it just like I like it because I made it my own. Yes, ma'am. All right. So we're going to use this like a wax. What I love about this, or like a stain, is that it doesn't have odor. Like there's no high odor like you would get with some type of stains that you use on wood. It does not have that. Not stinky, fast dry time, and you can get it off your hands and your table, you know. And I like that about this. Love that rich dark color too. It's just, yes. Look how much better that looks already. But don't worry about the bottom because the bottom is sort of like pressed wood or something. So it's not real pretty. You're not going to see a lot of grain on it, but it'll be covered up. I'm going to add down some of that school glue and attempt with my brush to get as even a coat of glue as I can. I'm fairly new to the crackle paint scene. I do remember it from the 80s. I know it is not everybody's thing. I am fine with that. I am totally fine with that. But y'all, I think it looks really nice. And I'm glad that it came back, but it's coming back in a different way, I think. And this, it's a pretty look, I think. Rustic look, let's put it that way. So you can see some of it's a little bit thicker, some of it's a little bit lighter. That's okay. It'll just change the way it crackles. I'm going to wait a few minutes to sort of let it get a little bit tacky, and then I'm going to grab a chippy brush and my orange paint. Mistake number one, should have used a wider brush. Really should have used a wider brush, but I used a thinner one. I could have moved a lot faster. They suggest that you don't overlap your paint, that you don't go back and forth on it, that you lay it down and you leave it alone. You don't want to go back and forth because it will interfere with the way that it crackles. So I'm trying my absolute best here to do what I imagine I'm supposed to do. A lot of it's guesswork when you're doing something new in crafting. So I've just watched a bunch of videos. I've taken advice from a bunch of different people or lessons or whatever, instruction. And I am attempting to do those things. So yes, this is definitely not an original idea. But I like the idea of using this as a backdrop to something that we're going to put a wall decal on. It's going to be very unique and different, y'all. Not everybody is going to be doing this. So this would be really something, I think, fun and unique to have in your own home. If it's something that brings you joy. You know, it needs to be what brings you joy. So I'm just kind of putting this down, and I actually do have this in fast speed, but I'm doing this really slow because I was so nervous that I was going to mess this crackle up. And you know, before I accidentally crackled. What in the world? Okay, so I'm going to take my heating tool and I'm going to go over back and forth all over this entire thing until it is almost completely dry. And as I'm going over it, I've cut out a lot because I'm sure you don't want to see me just do that over and over again. It starts off with little lines like this. It's still wet, so I'm going to keep going. Once it's completely dry, look at the amount of, look at that, y'all. Oh. Scrape it up, put it back in there. I'm not going to kill a project because I made a boo-boo. Happy accidents, right? Oh, rest in peace, Bob. Rest in peace. Okay, so I'm going to take a thicker layer this time and a bigger brush, and I'm going bolder, y'all. I'm going bolder with this next section. We are layering this up. I am putting this down fairly thickly, and then something very interesting starts to happen as I'm putting it down. I'm going to show you what that looks like too. Yeah, doing new things with crafting, it can make you kind of nervous, but I think it's important to try. You know, think outside of the box, try something different. Then if you don't like it, you don't ever have to do it again. Okay, so watch as I'm doing this. I think the paint might be starting to dry, and look at the little ripples. It almost looks like waves in the ocean, right? And I thought, oh wow, this. Now if this successfully crackles, that is going to be pretty amazing. So I'm going to let it sit up a little bit, and then I've applied my sheepskin the same way I did, but with a bigger brush, right over the top of that. This layer, because there's so much glue, is going to take quite some time to dry. So just give it time. I'm going to take my little heat tool here and go over it and look at the large crackling that's already happening on the side. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, y'all. Look at it. Look how it turns out when it is completely dry. I am obsessed. Oh, I can see fall and Halloween being full of crackle paint. I won't do everything like that because everybody doesn't like it. But if you do like crackle paint, please let me know in the comments so I can continue to bring you new ideas with some crackling. Okay, so I made a little mess on the side. I'm just cleaning it up with some wax, but you can go back in with that stain and use that if you would like, or the tint, wood tint. I am going to make sure that I have got this sanded down just so that I have a good adherence of my wall decal onto this tray. And I'm just going to go over it, you know, just a little bit. I'm not going nuts here. I don't want to break all my crackling down. Just going to go over it, try to get a nice smooth surface. And then always after you do this, you need to be sure that you use dry cloth to clean it up. So I'm just using a dry piece of some type of a felt or fleece that I have left over. I like to use scraps for this kind of stuff. Getting in the corners, getting all the dust out that we took off. And we're going to start cutting out that decal. This one is on the sheet with all the little butterflies, and you can see what I'm cutting out is one whole piece, and then I'll be left with two sections of butterflies. I'm going to peel this off, and I did look before I started the project to make sure that this is something that would fit in here, and it does, of course, or you wouldn't be seeing it on camera right now. And I'm just going to place this down. I'm not trying to get center or anything. I'm trying to get most of the flower in there, but it turns out that it ends up being basically centered. I'm going to press it down, and just like I did before, you know, press it down. I'm going to not use any type of the squeegee yet. I do get a little braver soon because this is not sealed. This is not sealed. Remember, we just have that paint sitting there. Then I'm going to take the squeegee and go all over the decal part. And I'm trying not to get too much or put too much pressure onto it and over the crackles. I don't want anything chipping off because, I mean, you know, if it does chip off with a crackle, that's the whole point, so it's not really going to hurt anything. It's that old look, like chippy paint, right? So that would be totally fine. I'm going to use my blade again and just cut off, and this time I'm using my Dollar Tree blade to show you that you can use those. They work good. They work fine for me. And there's my hair. Okay, and then I'm going to just take that little piece out of there and make sure that I have pressed down all of my edges nice and flat. Look at my yucky hands, y'all. I'm such a messy crapper. Then I'm going to start adding my butterflies. The fun part, you can decorate this however you want. You can choose how many butterflies you want and which colors you want and put them wherever you want to in there. And maybe if you're doing this when your grandkids are around, maybe they would like to help. That would be really nice. Press that down. My table's bouncing like crazy. And I ended up saving a bunch of these little pieces to use on other projects, which, you know, you can't go wrong with that. You're really stretching your dollar. I don't think I paid for this decal. I think it was maybe a dollar something. Yeah, that's why I love getting this stuff from Temu, because it's very cheap. But you do whatever you want wherever you get your decals from. You may have decals in your stash that you haven't even used yet. You may have window clings from other holidays that you've never used yet. Get those out. Make you a tray. Find some way to use the beautiful artwork that are on those pieces and use them in a different way. I wouldn't put these on my wall. They're beautiful, but I don't see the point in my home to do it this way. And this way I can change it out. You don't have to have the same thing every day. So now I've got my Mod Podge on. Now it is sealed. We'll give it a chance to dry. And I love it. It's so pretty. And I really do feel that this is a summer to fall project. Here are the 3 pieces that we did. They are rustic and lovely and affordable, which is what this channel is about, right? Affordable and unique projects. So I hope you would subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Be sure you hit the notification bell, y'all, because I don't want y'all to miss giveaways that I do on my community post. I don't want you to miss updates, anything like that. Be sure that y'all also check out the link in the description box below for the cruise that you definitely do not want to miss. You're going to regret it if you don't go with us next February. I'm just telling you that. I'm just telling you. Okay, so here are the projects, and I've kind of staged them a little bit for you, but you know, use your imagination. Where do you think you could use these projects in your home, and how do you think that you would be using them? Thank you so much for stopping by and for being part of my channel. I appreciate it very, very much. We're getting very close to starting our fall decor, so if you enjoyed these pieces, be sure that you follow along, because there are going to be a lot more beautiful, rustic, rich colored decor, unique pieces coming your way. Hey, if you're a new subscriber, say hi in the comments. I'd love to meet you. Check out the rectangle for another video. See you soon. Bye.